cut across right now to our guest. Joining me, Professor David Cay Johnston, Pulitzer-winning journalist and also the author of The Making of Trump. He's with us this evening. Appreciate, sir. Thank you, Professor, for taking the time out and joining us. What do you make of the most recent developments, especially in terms of how we've seen Iran's retaliation? President Trump has now gone on record the third time to say that Iran wants talks, but it's too late.
Well, the most important story that's getting very little attention is that within 24 hours before the U.S. and Israel attacked, the Iranians offered Donald Trump a better deal than Barack Obama got in 2015 that included limits with inspection on refining uranium and allowing American oil companies into Iran. They gave him this tremendous deal so he could brag, I out-negotiated Barack Obama. And the response of the U.S. and Israel was to bomb Iran. Reasonably, the government in Tehran looks upon the U.S. as a country that is not trustworthy, that will lie to your face, and could probably appropriately describe the Trump administration as a group of savages. And this is the part that's gotten almost no attention in the news. The Iranians made this tremendous offer, and this comes not from the Iranians, but the Oman foreign minister, Badar, who was the emissary going between the Americans and the Iranians in Geneva. So now, since then, the Trump administration has tried to come up with multiple explanations. Why did we do this? Is it regime change? Is it fear of missiles that Iran doesn't have to attack the U.S.? Is it nuclear weapons? Well, wait a minute. Trump said that the capacity to make them had been obliterated months ago by the U.S. This is a bunch of amateurs in the White House in the United States, and they're following the lead of Netanyahu. Marco Rubio, the U.S. Secretary of State, said the reason the U.S. attacked when it did was because Israel was going to attack Iran, and it was anticipated Iran would respond by attacking American military bases and maybe other assets. And wow, Netanyahu is leading Donald Trump around with a ring in his nose, like he's a pet pig. I mean, this is an astonishing development, especially for an American president who says America first. Apparently, no, Israel first, America second.
Professor, while, NATO allies, Europe, some of them completely against America, like Spain, like Norway, Denmark has also taken an anti-America stand in this war. And UK that has done a U-turn, but most of the NATO allies are standing by in somewhat gingerly fashion where President Trump is concerned. But back home, the domestic politics, there are midterm elections coming up. He did not go to the Congress before waging this war. MAGA supporters are angry. Do you see a sense of isolation building up where President Trump is concerned?
Yeah, this may very well make his presidency ineffective going forward. The Republican leadership in Congress is still with Trump, at least in the open. But it is very significant that Donald Trump came into office and immediately began insulting our friends and allies, denigrating our closest friends and allies, especially Canada, Australia, and the United Kingdom. Australia is the most lapdog ally the U.S. has in the world. And all of them are being driven towards trade deals with China, contrary to Trump's promises. Now, Keir Starmer, the United Kingdom's prime minister, issued a lengthy and very legalistic statements trying to say to Iran, look, we're just allowing the use of our bases for defensive measures. I don't think that's going to carry much weight with the Ayatollahs. This is not a legalistic issue to them in the terms Starmer put it. And NATO's Rutte, the head of NATO, has said, we're not going to join in this war in Iran. And by the way, let's not forget that the United States president had no legal authority to do this. Only the American Congress has the power to declare war. The commander-in-chief, the president, only has the authority to take defensive actions until Congress grants authority.
Mm-hmm. Professor Johnston, going ahead, the last statement of President Trump said that this is going to be a long war. He said it will last months, or at least a month. Now, at the back of that, there will be economic repercussions. There are already repercussions where, international law is concerned. How do you see all of that pan out in terms of domestic politics for President Trump?
I've never heard of a war that you can put a timeline on and say that it's over. You don't know what you've unleashed here. And we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that Iran, which is it's an autocracy, a theocracy run by Shia Muslims. There are large Shia minorities in other countries. They're clearly very upset about the killing of the Ayatollah. Normally in warfare, you don't kill a head of state. That's a very unwise thing to do. It puts a target on you if you do that. And so the likelihood that this will be controlled and in 4 weeks it will be all over, call me back in 4 weeks. I'll be surprised if that's the case.
All right, Professor Johnston, we'll have you soon enough, possibly earlier than that. Thank you for taking the time out and joining us. Appreciate it.